Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here it is, the Subtlety Rogue, and man does Sub feel really damn good. The Masters of Shadow, and is the gameplay different? Not by a whole hell of a lot, but there is a few quirks. You're still tracking about as much as you were on live, and it really kind of feels like it's playing a step back from that. When you actually had to keep recuperate up, like during Cataclysm, you've got another ability that you got to keep up to keep those combo points refreshing. It feels really good, and it's not just single target, but AoE. So let's go ahead and jump straight to the abilities. So here we are, guys, and we're going to take a real good look at the abilities and basically go through every single one. So what's the first one? It's blind. Same thing as what it used to be, guys. 2-minute cooldown. It's going to blind the target and make him wander disoriented for 1 minute and less damaged. Really, again, same thing. Cheap shot, same as on live. 2 combo points. You need to end up being in stealth, and it's going to stun the target for 4 seconds. Cloak of Shadows, same as on live, guys. This is going to be your magic negation. It works the same. Crimson Vial. This is a newer ability, and what it's going to do is actually heal you for 30% of your maximum health over 6 seconds, 30-second cooldown. It does cost 30 energy, but this is a good amount of healing, especially while questing. It allows you to keep going. Distract. Distract is really, it's your stealth ability, guys. It's going to make it divert the attraction of certain mobs, so it's easier to sap them. If you haven't played a rogue before, it's a little hard to end up describing to you, but basically you just throw a smoke bomb or a rock and it makes them turn around. That's it. Enveloping Shadows is a talent. We will go over this bad boy later on. Evasion works the same as on live, guys. 2-minute cooldown increases your dodge chance by 100% for 10 seconds. Eviscerate, same thing as on live, a little bit stronger than what you might remember, and it's going to be, it's a finishing move that disembowels or eviscerates the target, causing damage per combo point, and it does increase damage per combo point. Feint, same as on live, reduces area effect damage by 50% for 5 seconds, 20 energy. Gloomblade. Now normally, this would be, let me go ahead and change this real quick, because normally, we'll take Weapon Master real quick. This is going to be Backstab. I won't read Backstab before we get into the talent of Gloomblade. 35 energy, stab the target, causing decent, okay physical damage. No position requirement, but if you are behind the target, 30% increased damage. So it does feel nice. Now the problem is with questing and some of the dungeon bosses and the way trash is pulled and some of the tanks, positioning still sucks. So that's why I kind of went with Gloomblade instead, because Backstab, as nice as it is, unless it's perfect conditioning, that's one of the problems the specs always had, and they kind of give you a talent to fix that. So we're gonna move on. Gormaw's Bite. This is your artifact ability, and it's not the best. It's fairly simple to use, and it's a little on the boring side, really. But it lashes out and does okay damage, and reduces movement speed by 60% for 8 seconds, grants 30 energy over 6 seconds, and awards 3 combo points. There's a lot going on there, but not really. It's a basically, okay, I'm low on combo points, I'm low on energy, we're going to fire this thing off and call it good. Basically, it's great after using any one of your finishers, you know, whichever one you go with. And then you've got Kick. That's your interrupt, guys. Pretty basic, 15-second cooldown. Kidney Shot works the same. Based on your combo points, you're going to stun the target for X amount of seconds. It's got a 20-second cooldown. Nightblade. Okay, so I'm going to read the tooltip and explain this thing as easy as possible. Finishing move that infects targets with shadowy energy, dealing shadow damage over time and causing attacks against the target to reduce movement speed by 50% for 8 seconds. Lasts longer per combo point. What does this mean? This is Rupture. Easiest way I can put it. Rupture, but shadow damage, guys. And it does really well. It's a very strong ability, just like Rupture is for Assassination. But that's all it is. It's just Rupture with a slow. That's all. Picklock does exactly what it says. Fairly basic. Pickpocket. You pick the pocket of an enemy target. Pretty simple. Sap. This is your CC. Works on humanoids, beasts, demons, and dragonkin, and it's basically going to just incapacitate them, guys. It incapacitates them unless they get hit by damage. Shadow Blades, this is your cooldown now. You still have Vanish that you can work in there also, but Shadow Blades is your main cooldown. It is a 3-minute cooldown, and it's going to draw upon surrounding shadows to empower your weapons, causing auto attacks to deal shadow damage and abilities to generate combo points to generate 1 additional combo point. So this is going to allow you to do a little bit of extra melee damage because of this, because of the shadow, and then you're gonna have extra combo points that you get to work with. Real nice, real fun. And then you got Shadow Dance. This is a little on the different side, guys. It's not your normal ability that you're used to, and the reason I say this is because it comes with 3 charges, 1 minute recharge on each one. But this is going to it's going to let you to enter stealth and use your stealth abilities for 3 seconds. It's not broken by damage or anything, just kind of like it is on live, but you have 3 charges of this thing. The movement speed active and all that you see on there is actually from a talent. We'll go over that later. But you've got 3 charges, and it plays huge into your rotation. You're going to have basically 2 different rotations that you're going to work with on this thing. One going to be your main rotation, another going to be like your buff. I've got a little bit of burst area rotation, and it's really nice. It's got a we're not even going to use the word rotation, but a good priority setup that plays into this. And then you've got Shadow Step. It's instant. It's a 30-second cooldown. Step through the shadows, they appear behind the target and gain 70% movement speed, so it's the exact same thing as on live. Shadow Strike requires stealth. Strike through the shadows, appearing behind your target and dealing 51,000. This is a very good key ability that you're going to use. It's brand new, and it's kind of a little on the different side to get used to. Shuriken Storm. This is awesome for AoE situations. It does not do a lot of damage. It's going to be like Fan of Knives. But if you read that bottom part, it is 35 energy. It's instant. But all targets within 10 yards are going to award 1 combo point per target. This is what makes it nice, and we'll get more into this in the gameplay. But you can hit this, and any target that it hits is going to give you combo points. Insane. Absolutely insane, guys. And it's nice. It's really nice to end up seeing this. So you end up generating just a shit ton of combo points off of AoE, and basically you can AoE and then do Nightblade, which is your Rupture, on every target around, and then go into Eviscerates if need be. So it plays out very nice. And then Shuriken Toss, this is just a throw. Yeah, pretty lame. Take a look. We'll try it again a little further, and there you go. Shuriken Storm, if you miss the animation, that's what it looks like. Really good looking. Shadow Strike. I'll show you this one too. And you just kind of jump behind and stun them. Real nice. Looks good, guys. This spec, like, all the animations are great. Sprint, this is the next one up. Increases your movement speed by 70% for 8 seconds. Same as on live. Stealth does exactly what it says. It's going to put you into stealth. We're going to use Vanish because, you know, I want to get out of combat for a second. Now, you've got Symbols of Death. And what this does, this is awesome. This is another piece that you're going to end up having to control to keep your damage up. And this is going to be AoE damage. This is going to be single target. Keep this thing up, because what's it going to do is invoke Ancient Symbols of Power. Yeah, it's going to increase all damage you deal by 20% for 35 seconds, and causing your next Shadow Strike to critically strike. The way this has played to me is one of your Shadow Dances, you know, if you want to end up... Basically, whenever you use Shadow Dance, you're going to want to fire this guy off and then go into one of your Shadow Strikes. Now, you can get away with it because of the way the recharges are, and we'll get into the way the recharges are. You can actually get away with using a Shadow Dance and then just doing a couple... if this doesn't need redone, you can just go into Shadow Strike and do a couple of those. I've gotten up to 3 of them because of the way that the global cooldowns work now, and it works pretty damn nice. So, this is just a buff that you're going to want to end up keeping track of, guys. And the nice part is when you're in combat, we'll go ahead and throw it up real quick. You can actually keep track of all your buffs right here off of this new little bar, and it's got combo points also, but it's kind of clipped off of what the image is. But you'll get to see it whenever I go over the actual gameplay. And with that being said, we're going to talk about tricks of the trade. Works exactly the same, except it no longer drops the threat. It automatically, permanently goes to that target. You don't have to worry about that side of it anymore. Vanish, okay, 2-minute cooldown, does exactly what it says. You're going to vanish, same as on live, guys. And basically, you're going to disappear for the first 3 seconds after vanishing. Damage and harmful effects will not break the stealth, and also breaks movement and parrying effects. Same as on live, guys. Works really nice. Now, we're getting into the passives. Deepening Shadows passive. Finishing moves have a 5% per combo point to grant an additional charge of Shadow Dance. Yeah. So, as you can see, I went a little bit different, but this is going to normally give you 25% or 30% chance each time you use it to give you another charge of Shadow Dance. And it makes it really, really nice with that RNG flavor. If you've always got one Shadow Dance, basically you want to leave one charged in case you don't get any procs. And you can end up just automatically going straight in case you got to end up redoing Symbols of Death or anything. Just leave yourself one charge and it's a good open window. Fleet-footed, your movement speed is increased by 15% and you take reduced falling damage. Same as on live. Mastery, Executioner, little different. Increases the damage done by your finishing moves by 70.1% or whatever it ends up, you know, how much mastery you've got. Relentless Strikes, finishing moves have a 20% chance per combo point to generate 40 energy. Okay, same as on live. Shadow Techniques, passive. Your auto attacks have a chance to generate a combo point. This is nuts, guys. Where does this end up playing? You're using daggers. It doesn't really matter. Haste and generation feels fine for the spec. It feels like it's running good. My personal, like, the way I built this thing was around crit mastery. Just because of how much damage it's doing. There's no more multi-strike, but, you know, the crit mastery is where it feels solid at least to me. I did try going a haste build, and I did have a lot of combo points, but I wasn't doing shit for damage in executioners. Everything was just crap. So that's going to be it for the abilities, guys. Let's go ahead and take a run into the talents, because there's a lot to talk about on this spec. So here's the talents, and you'll see level 15, there's a good choice between all of these. And again, if you know the fight, you're going to be able to be behind them quite a bit more. Gloomblade's not going to take over. But as you see, this is a set that I've been running and not only questing with this spec, but I've also been using this to basically quest, dungeon, do everything currently. But if you know that you're going to be in a dungeon and you'll have a better chance of staying behind your target, these two will actually take over Gloomblade. Gloomblade still hits nice, but it takes away the position requirement. So at level 15, what do we have? Master Subtlety, passive, attacks made while stealth, and for 6 seconds after breaking stealth cause an additional 10% damage. Huge increase, especially during your burst periods, to where you're going to be using Shadow Strike after your Shadow Dances and all that. Great damage on this. It works really nice. Then you've got Weapon Master. It's passive. The abilities, your abilities have a 6% chance to hit the target twice each time they deal damage. So it's like adding 6% mastery, 6% multi-strike on yourself for just your abilities. And it's not that great. I mean, it works alright, I guess, in a longer fight or something, or if you get lucky and the RNG is with you, this should be pretty decent. And then Gloomblade, like I said, this replaces Backstab, and it punctures your target with Shadow Infused Blade for basically what it would end up doing normally as a regular Backstab. Again, it's just Backstab without the position requirement. Level 30, Night Stalker. It's passive. While Stealth or Shadow Dance is active, you move 20% faster and your abilities deal 15% more damage. Yeah, I mean, your burst period, that's where you're going to put most of your damage anyways. This works really nice. Subterfuge. Abilities requiring stealth can still be used for 3 seconds after stealth breaks. Also increases the duration of Shadow Dance by 2 seconds. This is going to allow you to use Shadow Strike a few extra times, guys, so it's really not that bad. And then you've got Shadow Focus. Again, the energy regen for the spec. It's not fast by any means, but it fits the rotation. So this one might be a little bit on the odd side for it, because all you're really doing is just reducing your energy in that section when you want to actually, you've got these burst windows, you want to use these little 3-second burst windows to get as much damage as possible. 45, Deeper Stratagem. This basically allows you to have an extra combo point, and your finishing moves consume up to the 6 combo points and also increase their damage by 20%. With your mastery, this seems like the best way to go. This is going to be 20% increased damage off of whatever your mastery is doing for those finishers already. So it just felt strongest in almost every situation. Anticipation's passive. You may have a maximum of 8 combo points. Finishers still consume a maximum of 5. This is basically, this may work out alright too, because you have the ability, you know, when you're generating combo points left and right. And it does end up getting a little crazy sometimes with how many combo points are just coming flying through the window at you. It does work nice, but it doesn't seem to fit as well as like Deeper Stratagem. If you lose a combo point here or there in the spec, I think it's expected with how fast they fly up. Vigor, again, energy regeneration's great. This is going to increase the max energy by 50 and your energy regeneration by 10%. It's not a fast spammy spec, it's more of a thought. You got to think through this thing and know what you're hitting next. Think of what you're hitting next. Timing it out, just basically like on live, you got to have a little bit of a thought process in your tracking of what you're doing. And this is going to kind of take away from some of that, as to where this is going to be like the more max benefit, at least in my opinion. Level 60, Soothing Darkness. This is going to be like your defensive row. And basically passive, you heal 3% of your maximum health every 1 second while stealth is active. Passive healing, always good. It's best to stay alive, and it was just one that I was working with and it felt pretty good. Elusiveness, passive. Feint also reduces all damage you take from non-area of effect attacks by 30%. Same as on live, really. Additional 30% makes you God mode to AoE, basically. Cheat Death, passive. Fatal attacks instead reduce you to 7%. Your maximum health for 3 seconds. Afterwards, you take 85% reduced damage. Cannot trigger more than... Same as on live. Really, guys, a lot of this stuff hasn't changed as much as people have been making it seem. The rotation and all that stuff, different story, but a lot of the talents are close to the same. 75, though. Strike from the Shadows, it's passive. Shadow Strike also stuns your target for 2 seconds, and that's what you were seeing whenever I would jump over. You can see to where it does the stun. Works nice. That's what you're kind of looking at. Nothing big, though. Prey on the Weak. Enemies disabled with your Blind, Kidney Shot, Cheap Shot, or Sap take 10% increased damage from all sources. Okay. I like this one a little bit better, because on Trash you could use it as an extra interrupt if your kick was on cooldown. Worked out nice. I enjoyed it, so that's why I went with it, really. Nothing in this is really going to be better or worse, I don't think. Tangled Shadow, passive. Nightblade now decreases a target's movement speed by an additional 20%. So instead of them being slowed for 50%, they'll be slowed by 70% for 8 seconds or however many combo points you got up there. Alright. Whatever. Level 90. Interesting stuff. The passive on this one, Premeditation, yeah, it's still here. Is it the same? No, it sucks. Cheap Shot and Shadow Strike generate 1 additional combo point. Alright. You know, I guess. I mean, if you're PvPing, Cheap Shot, you really don't end up using it too much in a PvE scenario, especially on a boss. I don't see a lot of people cheap shotting. Shadow Strike, on the other hand, generating 2 combo points. That might be useful, but yeah. Alacrity, I don't know what they're going with on this. Maybe on a super long fight, and the extra stabby is going to generate more combo points, but right now it wasn't great. And then you've got Enveloping Shadows, which really kind of turns the whole page on the other two. Like, okay, why in the hell would I want this? But it's 25 energy, 1 to 6 combo points, because I've got the Deeper Stratagem. And basically, finishing move that generates 1 combo point every 3 seconds, lasts longer per combo point spent. So you can see the times on there. With the 6.36 seconds of not having to worry about this. And this is what I was talking about with kind of having that recuperate gameplay. Instead of it being energy regen, this is giving just shitting combo points on you every 3 seconds. And then you're also stabbing and getting them. And you don't even have to hit your Gloom Blade or any other ability to actually generate combo points. It generates quick, and this is just helping it out. With this, it means it's going to be very simple to keep everything up, and you're going to get more Eviscerates in, which Eviscerate hits like a damn truck. That's why I went with it. A little bit more gameplay, an extra button, and it felt fun. Level 100, Master of Shadows, passive. You immediately gain 30 energy when you enter stealth or activate Shadow Dance. Again, this is one of the reasons why I probably wasn't having issues with energy regen. Now, you may have to go a different route if you don't take this, but you can actually get this thing to play and rotate nicely with the gameplay style. And again, you don't have to always use Shadow Dance just to refresh Symbols of Death. You can use it for many situations as long as you've got one available in case you don't get lucky enough with RNG to proc an additional. You got to keep that backup, but you don't want them to be capped out at 3 either. So yeah, if you do that, you're losing DPS. But this helped out quite a bit on the energy regen side. Marked for Death, same as on live. This thing works great for some situations like questing, where it gives you those 5 combo points, but it's not that awesome. 1 minute cooldown, generates 5 combo points, cooldown resets if the target dies, and it's just, yeah. And then you got Death from Above. So far, Assassination has this, I believe Outlaw does. We'll find out here later because I haven't really played with it much. This is the one that sticks with every single spec, and it's just okay in my opinion. I don't enjoy this one as much as I would like Master Shadows. Yeah, 25 energy, 1 to 6 combo points. It's going to make you jump, whirl around and deal very little damage to all enemies within 8 yards. Jump up in the air and eviscerate down for 50% stronger effect. Yeah, okay. That eviscerate's going to hit like a truck, 20-second cooldown. Is it worth it? Nah. Not to me. Not to me. Not for that 1 extra button when you've got this and you can basically just eviscerate more often without it. Yeah, it's going to depend on the player, really, if they want it, and I didn't care for the gameplay with it. So that's just me, guys. But we're going to move on. That's it for the PvE talents. We're going to move on to the actual artifact. And here we are, guys. We're going to take a look at some of the artifact skins. As you can see, the base models of these daggers are fairly chintzy. They're supposed to look like teeth, and yeah, they got that like big fang look, but they're not my favorite by any means. Now you step up to the Shadow Blades, they're a little bit better, but they still don't seem to have much. Demon's Embrace, we'll let it spin around so you can get a better view. They aren't that great. I mean, the model's alright. That's about as far as I can go with it. I'm not too excited about it. You know, Shadow Blades are looking pretty good. And then you've got the PvP ones. These are okay. I mean, it's a dagger. It's a very limited, very simple one. The Shadow Blades, they got a little bit more going on. They actually look epic. As where the other ones look like something you picked up, you know, at level 15. I mean, really, it's not that great of a model. But that's just my opinion, guys. And what we're going to do now is move on to the traits. Alright, so first off, going to be looking. You've got a Fell Artifact, a Locked Fell Artifact, and a Shadow Artifact slot. So far I haven't been lucky enough to get anything to drop for this, or in the questing, because I've done a lot of the questing on this thing already as the different specs. So, first things first, Gormod's Bite. Lashes out at the target, inflicting X amount of damage, and reduces movement speed by 60% for 8 seconds, grants 30 energy, and awards 3 combo points. Not the best. It is a basic, okay, I'm low on combo points, I'm low on energy, fire this thing, and we'll get some energy back and get 3 combo points. That is the only thing. And most of the time, you're never really low on combo points. So it's just an okay ability. It doesn't really have any major gameplay issues. Just as long as you're low on combo points or under 3, and you are, you know, under like 50 energy, it's probably the best time to end up using it, really. So first step out whenever you get these is Shadow Fangs. Increases physical and shadow damage by 5%. Alright, pretty simple. We'll go to Fortune's Bite, 0-3, Shadow Techniques. has a 5% chance to generate 2 combo points. Now, Shadow Techniques, if you were with me before, okay, that's going to be the one that actually gives your auto attacks a chance to generate an additional combo point. So instead of it being 5% chance to actually make it to where it's 2. And I'm not sure if that has to be off the proc or if it's actually off the weapon itself, what's going on, but I'm sure it's 5, 10, 15%, and when you go to get that proc, it's got another roll that ends up doing if you end up getting the additional combo point. Again, this thing just poops combo points on you guys. That's it. Embrace of Darkness, rank 0-1. When you enter stealth, you gain a shield which absorbs damage equal to your attack power. Kind of neat. Gives you a good little start off with the shield, or whenever you now I don't know if this is going to work with Shadow Dance, but it would be nice if it did. You know, give you a little bit of a gameplay control for some defensives. That would be awesome. Precision Strike, rank 0-3. Increases damage dealt by Shadow Strike by 10, 20, or 30%. Hey, not bad. Demon's Kiss, rank 0-3, increased damage dealt by Nightblade by 5, 10, or 15. Nightblade is your new Rupture ability, so it's always good to get that additional, I want to say bleed damage, but it's like shadow damage, so, but we'll make it as a, you know, a dot. How's that? That increased dot damage. Finality. First Golden Dragon we're coming to, and it's 0-1. After using Nightblade or Eviscerate, your next use of that finishing move is empowered by Fangs of the Devourer. What does that mean? Haven't got a clue, guys. Have not tested it. It's just empowered. So I'm guessing it's just going to do an improved amount of damage. There's nothing in there yet that I've seen that actually says what this ability does except for empowers that ability. So if you end up using Nightblade, your next Nightblade is going to be empowered. If you use Eviscerate, your next Eviscerate is going to be empowered. So it's kind of like a wax or wane to where you just increase the damage as you end up going through the fight. I'm not sure if it stacks, what's going on with it, but that was my initial thought when I read it. Second Shuriken. Shuriken Storm has a chance per target hit to deal an additional physical damage to that target. So if you need an AoE, this is going to put about double the damage of the AoE on there. Right now it's doing 2,666 damage. This is going to put, yeah, basically doubles the damage of what it does. Nothing great. Energetic Stabbing. 0 of 3. So basically Cheap Shot and Shadow Strike have a chance to refund 5, 10, or 15 energy. Again, Shadow Strike, you're going to use that quite a bit. Cheap Shot, not so much in a PvE world. Ghost Armor, rank 0 of 3. Passive increases your chance to dodge by 3, 6, or 9, possibly 10%. Yeah, okay. Flickering Shadow, rank 0-1, activating Sprint and then taking no damage for 3 seconds will activate Vanish without triggering its cooldown. Another way to play in that second Vanish since you don't have it right now. Kind of a neat gameplay situation for that. So if you don't take any damage, you know you're going to be alright. Activate Sprint. It'll end up popping you out of combat. I see people using this a lot for maybe PvP escapes, hard telling, but again, I don't PvP, but this looks like a pretty interesting piece to play with later on. The Quiet Knife, 0-3, increases damage dealt by backstab by 3, 6, or 9%. Awesome. This is going to give backstab the benefit, and I don't know if this ties into Gloomblade or not. Unfortunately, it doesn't end up saying it, and I have not been able to test it. Akari's Soul, rank 0-1. After you use Cheap Shot or Shadow Strike, Akari's Soul appears 4 seconds later, and Soul rips the target, dealing heavy shadow damage and 0 damage over time until canceled. Basically, I guess Akari is going to come out and do this ability and basically cause another dot on him, is what it looks like. And again, I haven't tested this thing. It's kind of hard to end up telling. They're a little bit on the off side, but it looks like Akari's going to come out and just do a dot. And, alright. Free dots, free dots, free dots. Gut Ripper 0-3 increases the critical strike chance of Eviscerate by 5%. Now, Eviscerate hits like a truck. Eviscerate hits like an even bigger truck when it crits. And I mean, you're talking huge amounts of damage, and we'll go over that in the logs here a little bit later on where the damage is coming from. But yeah, it's a good ability. Now, the thing about Eviscerate is you're keeping your other stuff up a bit more often than you are Eviscerate. So every time you fill your combo points, it's about every third time that your combo points fill up is when you're going to use Eviscerate. Is that a bad thing? No. But this is just going to increase the chance of it critically striking, which is going to make it really damn nice. Cat-like reflexes, rank 0-3. Okay, we read that. Increase dodge chance by 5, 10, or 15% and makes you immune to falling damage. So basically, you can fall from anywhere. Soul Shadows, rank 0 of 3. Increases the duration of Shadow Blades by 3 seconds. So 3, 6, or 9. And again, that's basically going to make Shadow Blades go from 15 seconds, you know, and just add the 9 on there. You're going to end up to 24 seconds. May even be 25, because some of these are a little on the different side. And then our last Golden Dragon is Shadow Nova. 0-1. When you exit stealth, you explode, dealing X amount of damage to all nearby enemies. Pretty cheap AoE burst. Nothing big. But guys, that is going to be it for the artifact abilities. We're going to go straight into the gameplay, which I'm super excited to talk about. Alright, so here we are, guys, looking at the Subtlety Rogue. And the first thing, normally I want to go into a couple of the other abilities. First thing I want to talk about is AoE. Now, most of the rogues, Outlaw's got a little bit of AoE. Assassination's really on the light side for AoE with the Rupture spam and not generating the combo points you need to. This, on the other hand, actually has a good benefit for both single target and AoE, and the reason for that is because of Shuriken Storm. Shuriken Storm's going to do very little damage to the targets around you, but it's going to award you 1 combo point per target hit. That means if you're using this on 2 targets, kind of a waste. If you're using it on 3 targets, though, that's where it's going to start picking up, because you're going to build 3 and then 6 if you're using deeper stratagem combo points, and then you can go straight into your Nightblade, which is your new Rupture ability. It's just Shadow version for the Subtlety Rogue. And what this is going to do is allow you to basically get your dots off on everybody, and when you get your dots off on these people or these mobs, you're going to be able to swap over and go from doing Shuriken Storm into Nightblade into an actual Eviscerate, Shuriken Storm Eviscerate combo until you need to start reapplying Rupture again. Or not Rupture, but Nightblade. This is going to be hard for me not to say Rupture because it's the same ability, just slightly different. Now, the thing about it is, these combo point generators, the Eviscerate is where you're going to do a lot of damage, and you're still able to single target auto attack with doing Shuriken Storm, that it's going to help you generate even more combo points. So, let's say you end up going into an AoE situation. Make sure that you're actually keeping up your Symbols of Death buff also, by the way, guys, and building in your Shadow Dance. So, if you're doing this correctly and you're keeping your buffs up, you're going to want to keep up Symbols of Death, and if you took it, Enveloping Shadows for the additional combo points. All of these combo point generators are going to help you just all of a sudden go, you're going to jump, and you can see it right here to where I'm hitting Shuriken Storm and I'm going straight into a Nightblade. Even though it's not capped out, it still works out nice, and once it's all up there, I go into an Eviscerate combo, and it works great. You can see where I'm leaning on this to where you're basically able to just cheese these combo points out and get the highest damage possible in a very quick, short amount of time. It's nuts, guys. It feels really good. It's an insane amount of work, but it's not as hard as the Assassination to where you have to really generate these combo points before you end up putting Rupture on. To get Nightblade up, you're basically Shuriken Storming and getting it up there. It makes it really quick, fast applications, and you can single target burst while doing a little bit of cleave and having your dots up on everything. Plays very nice for an AoE spec on a rogue. With that being said, let's go into the single target. Now, single target, going into a boss fight. Normally, what you're looking at doing is you're going to want to obviously go in as stealth. Alright, you want to be stealth. Duh. You're a rogue. Don't jump into combat out of stealth unless you're confident and you're just questing or whatever. You still want to be stealth. The first thing you're going to want to do is activate your Symbols of Death. Get that 20% increased damage, guys. 35 seconds until you need to redo it. And then jump in and do a Shadow Strike right off the bat. Not only is that Shadow Strike going to crit because of Symbols of Death, but it's going to stun the target if it's stunnable, and it's just a good way to burst. Gets you right behind the target. You don't even have to really worry about Shadow Step because of this ability. So you're going to do that. You can end up using your Shadow Blades if you really want to at this point to end up helping build combo point generators. Make sure you put up your enveloping shadows right after that. Like your next build up to 5 or 6 combo points, use enveloping shadows so you generate combo points even faster. The next set that you build up to combo points wise, you're going to want to put up Nightblade. The next set, usually by that time, maybe, you might have to reapply Symbols of Death, so use a Shadow Dance. Make sure that you're keeping your Shadow Dance to where it's always in a recharged state. But use your Shadow Dance, and you can either do 2 Shadow Strikes if you don't need to redo Symbols of Death, or redo Symbols of Death and hit Shadow Strike. That's going to be your gameplay, guys. And main thing you want to do is make sure that when you're using Shadow Dance, and it's very situational when you want to do this extra burst damage, use this thing, but don't overspend on it. Make sure you've always got one available, because the RNG factor can suck and you will end up screwing yourself on damage because you won't be able to end up going into stealth and using Symbols of Death. You have one way of fixing that issue, and on a 2-minute cooldown, and that's Vanish. Vanish can end up taking you right out of that shitty situation if you do accidentally overspend on your Shadow Dances getting that extra burst in. So just remember that. Shadow Blades being your cooldown, it's going to help you generate more combo points through your abilities, and it's also going to do a little bit of extra damage on your weapons. Nothing big for a cooldown, it's kind of shit, but it does help generate combo points on a spec that already generates combo points like crazy. So with that being said, you're wanting to keep all this stuff up, and the next thing you're looking at is squeezing in your Gormaz Bite. You want to try and squeeze this in as soon as possible because it is on a 1-minute cooldown. The more times you get to use it, the more benefit you get. Whenever you are low on energy, basically sub 50 energy and under, I would say, 2 or less combo points, you're going to want to end up using this thing for the combo generation. It's 3 combo point generation and then grants 30 energy over 6 seconds. PvE setup, you want to make sure you don't overcap on your energy and you don't want to overcap on your combo points. Very simple. Gameplay wise though, guys, it's all about learning how to play this Shadow Dance and knowing whether you need to end up doing more damage with Shadow Strike, reapplying your buff from Symbols of Death, or if you're looking at, you know, where are you putting your combo points next? Are you going to put it in Enveloping Shadows, Nightblade, which is your new Rupture, or are you going to put it into Eviscerate? Any one of those, and it's awesome. There's so much thinking involved in this spec that it feels good. I mean, there's a lot of things to think about. 2 different sections that you got to think. Your Shadow Dance is going to be one set of gameplay for managing one buff, and then your combo points are going to be like a basic rogue, to where you're using those to maintain your other buffs and debuffs and so on and so forth. Really awesome gameplay, guys. I'm not going to go too much more into this because, again, with the way this is playing, you can see it. You can really tell how it's going, and there's a lot to track. There is a ton to track, and it's fun. It's very fun. They make it nice and easy with the new little bar down there to actually keep track, so you aren't looking all over the damn place to find out where this is at. Sure, whenever it comes live, you'll probably set a weak aura up or something if you work that way, but right now, it's playing great. I enjoy this spec, and I hope you do too whenever it comes live, as long as they don't change this thing 100%. With that, guys, we're going to take a quick look at the logs. Alright, so here we are taking a look at the logs, guys, and this is actually Shade of Xavius at the end of the Darkheart Thicket dungeon. Nightblade on top. Again, like I said, this is going to be like Assassination's Rupture, but it's not an actual bleed, it's shadow damage. And it does really well. Generally looking, you can see the crit is going to end up making this thing take off even more. Huge amount of damage, 9 casts, 74 hits. I did only have 86% uptime on this, and the reason for that was I ended up getting feared a lot during this fight, so it ended up causing some issues, and that's another reason why it is much higher than the rest, because I was too busy veering back and forth and I wasn't getting dispelled right. So you've also got Gloomblade, which this is your backstab, but you know, I've got it fixed because positioning's kind of an issue right now, and it does pretty good. I'm pretty sure if positioned right, maybe have a little bit more damage on a backstab, but again, this is just because positioning issues, having a little bit of trouble with them. And then Eviscerate, huge damage, but I only crit once with it, and you can see the crit max damage was 201,000. The average on a regular was 115. Really, if I were to end up getting a little bit more crit going on with this spec, it would be better, and almost everything else has got a huge crit percentage, but unfortunately, I was just having some shit luck with RNG, and that's where it went. Shadow Strike's going to be another huge benefit item, and the reason why the crit's so high on this is because right after you end up using Symbols of Death, it's going to automatically crit anyways, so that's really nice. Good damage out of that. 19 strikes. Regular melee looks alright. I mean, it's going to be up there. Shadow Blades, again, this is not... let me scroll down so you can see it, but Shadow Blades is not really that awesome, guys. It's more or less there for the combo point generator than anything. Gormaz Bite, again, that's going to be for the combo point generator and the energy. These things don't do crap for damage. Where you're looking at's actually in your finishers. Yeah, again, Crit Mastery looked really nice, and we'll take a look at let's look at Okard. Okard does pretty good. I was able to stay on him quite some time. And again, only about 86% uptime with Nightblade. If we end up looking, which one's Nightblade? The red. You can see where it was through here. I had it up the whole entire time except for the very beginning. So that 86% was just because of this beginning going through the initial run through of getting up my combo point generation and everything else. And it played out real nice. So again, Eviscerate much higher because I was able to stick on him a little bit longer. And these Eviscerate caps, I mean, you can see where the jump in damage just absolutely high with each one of them. Gloomblade, again, really decent on the meter. Shadow Strike, not as much. And I mean, it's, again, I'm trying to still learn this spec myself because there is a ton going on with the Shadow Strike switch. And I'm sure I could have benefited more by using Shadow Dance a little more efficiently than what I was. But it's just something to end up learning through. And I've got about 15 hours on this spec alone, and I will tell you, even after that 15 hours, trying to learn the little tricks here or there, the way that you can play Shadow Dance through, it's very interesting. And these are just a couple of the fights that I'm showing you. Some of the higher ones were a little bit different. But again, Gormaz Bite, Shadow Blade, all these are going to be further down because they are not meant for damage. They're meant for the utility side of them. So that's going to be it, guys, and I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it gave you a little bit more insight to what the spec is, and as always, really, it's all about the enjoyment. So if you did enjoy yourself, go ahead and slap that like button, throw it a subscribe, and I'll try and get you the best content available as soon as possible. Thanks for watching.